answer would be municipalization, but I'm going to wait because I know we'll have an opportunity to speak about that in a second. Because Plan Boulder and this group really prides itself on environmentalism and land use and the environment, I think the biggest environmental issue facing Boulder today is 60,000 single occupancy vehicles driving up 36. I think that we need to take an honest look at the ways our policies have created that challenge. And we need to proactively look at ways in which we can help solve the situation. I believe that environmental problem and affordable housing go hand in hand, because I know, again, going back to my theme, that young families and middle-income people, and probably many of you in this room, could not afford to live in Boulder today without a hand up. You only afford to live in Boulder today because you bought a home here over 15 years ago. And if you can afford to live here today, then you're certainly beyond my tax bracket, if you could come in today and put money down. So I think that those two issues go hand in hand. And we can't have an honest discussion about affordable housing if we're going to continue to talk about development as being the seed money for affordable housing. So right now, the primary dollars for affordable housing come out of a percent bonus that's paid by developers, and at the same time, we think development is evil. That doesn't really work. The only way, at least according to my basic econ instructor in college, the only way that we're going to ever come to even closely match demand is if we have a little bit more housing supply in Denver. We can either grow up, grow out, grow in, or grow down. This isn't Kupapiti, so the likelihood, that's in Australia where they mine opals. If you haven't been there, it's interesting. They live in caves because it's so hot. The likelihood is we're not going to, it's an interesting place to go, trust me. Likelihood is we're not going to dig down to live. And most people are against growing out and to a large extent growing up, though I think that we need to have a discussion about that.
Mark, I'm going to have to cut you
Okay,
off.
thank you.
Any of the other candidates want to speak? George?
Sure. We had, this morning we had a two-hour forum, and so we're fresh out of that little discussion this morning. I'll approach this a little bit differently. I have 3 or 4 things that I have down, and I also won't talk about energy until it's appropriate. However, I believe the economic vitality of this community is paramount. We have bucked a lot of trends here. We've missed a lot of the problems that the rest of this country has had. This city runs on sales taxes. Everything from open space to transportation to parks. And I'm the person to have there to watch over this. As some of you know, many of you know, I've been involved in downtown from the building of the mall on up till just a few years ago. So I think keeping good jobs in Boulder, making sure we don't lose any of our federal jobs, which many of you realize are on the cutting block right now, is extremely important. University relations, which I will tell you, I believe that I've made a difference on council in the area of university relations. I've been involved with the university for many, many years. Their activities in Boulder are sort of the engine that runs this community. So I think it's extremely important that we're all able to talk. And a couple of years ago, we weren't there. And I think that we've bridged that gap, and we have regular meetings with the university now. So jobs, sales taxes will be high on my priority list.
Thank you, George. Suzanne, any comments?
Sure. I agree with both of those issues as being very important. But I'm going to go ahead and take the bait and say I think that one of the biggest issues of our times is our relationship to energy. How much we use, where we get it from, what kinds. And I think it's a defining issue not just for Boulder, but for our nation and actually for the world. And it has implications for our national security, for our national economy, for our planet, and whether we're going to continue to cook it. And also for our local identity and vitality. And so I think that Boulder is at a historic junction with this issue. I think it's an exciting place to be. We've had a robust year-and-a-half dialogue about this. I mean, the concentrated part, it's been going on for over a decade. And I'm really proud of our community that we're taking this head on. And I know we'll talk more about 2B and 2C. But I do think that this issue is not only a defining issue, but it offers so much potential for our city to set itself up for the future, both in terms of meeting its economic and environmental goals, meeting our Kyoto Protocol stance, and to unleash all the innovation and technological know-how that we have in this community and really harness that to put Boulder ahead of the game and also serve as a model for countries around the nation. So I think that's a really important issue.
I agree with the same issue. I think it's a great idea at the wrong time. Again, it's an economic issue. It was mentioned, I'm handicapped, I'm sorry. Thank you. This morning it was mentioned that the University of Colorado is talking about going off-grid. The largest single user of our utility system within the city. Right now, XL is providing a reliable service at a reasonable price. If we look at the technology in the last 10 years and the improvement they have made, just in wind power and solar power, what will the next 10 years bring? Why are we risking millions of dollars? And it's a risk, no one seems to know, I certainly don't, I don't think anyone in here does. Why are we risking millions of dollars when the city can use it elsewhere and needs to use it elsewhere? We talk about affordable housing. You know, mentioning the city of Boulder and affordable housing in the same sentence seems to be a paradox. And if we do have affordable housing, it's only a single spoke. We have to come up with affordable shopping. Maybe it's time to put a big box store into Boulder. It would benefit not only the people that enjoy shopping at that level, but it would provide revenue. 30% of the revenue at Costco is provided by the city of Boulder. We can bring that revenue home. Social services will become an issue with the affordable. So we need to put all the spokes in the wheel when we talk about affordable housing.
Thank you, Tom. And George, will start with you.